What's going on, y'all? And welcome back to episode five. Is it episode five? Episode five or six? Pretty sure it's five. Whatever. I'll just go back and look at it. You'll know what the fucking episode is when you actually go on YouTube and look at it. So, you know, not gonna sit here and worry about all that right now. Uh, like I said, welcome back to the Rusty Hour. I believe this is episode five. It is your host, Father Rusty. And today's topic of discussion, we will be talking about something called the egg theory. Don't know what the egg theory is. I'm here to explain it to the best of my ability with the information I gained from looking up, these things. And I'm gonna try to explain it to y'all the best you can. So you can listen to this video, and if you want to get more information, you can go check out some other videos on YouTube, whatever the case may be. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So the story of the egg theory basically, and this is really for people who can actually have an open mind and actually think about things on a different type of plane and aren't just simple minded as fuck. So if you're one of those simple minded people, please do not click on this goddamn video because I don't have time to read all the comments and oh, you don't know what you're talking about, all this bullshit. I don't need time for all that negativity. Watch a different fucking video. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Peace and love. But for all my open-minded people, all my people who think on a certain type of level, who can actually, comprehend these things and, try to make it make sense, this video is for you. So basically, the egg theory is this type of theory basically stating that you you basically okay, how can I explain this in a way that makes sense? So the egg theory is basically explaining how we on this earth or our earth, our universe, because everybody is not the same person, how you live multiple different lives. Being it maybe you're living the same life that you're living right now, but you just keep, you know, I'll explain it a little better, but basically you're just living a different life every time. Every time you're always reborn and you're always here. It's a really mind-boggling theory, to be honest with you. So the basis of it, there's a story that goes, okay. So the basis of it, story goes, all right, you die. You know what I'm saying? Since none of us knows what the fuck happens after death, you know, in this sense you die. And you can call it the waiting room, whatever it is you want to call it, but you're in this place. You're in this same physical, body that you inhabit in the universe that you were just in, basically. You still have all the knowledge of everything that just happened, but like I said, you die and there's this person there, whether they look like you, whether they look like another being, whatever the fuck it is, but there's another person there with you. And he says to you, he was like, hey, um, so bad news, man, you died. And you're like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Um, okay. Now, of course, a couple questions are gonna arise, like, "Well, what's gonna happen to my family?" You know, what's gonna happen with my wife, my loved ones, all that, and these these are the normal thoughts of somebody in a sense, like if they were to die and this was to happen, this would probably be most people's first thoughts, like what's going to happen to my family, what's going to happen to my friends, my loved ones, people who I care about, all that, etc. And this person that's there with you, he's going to acknowledge that and be like, I'm glad that's what the first thing you think about. You're not just thinking about bullshit, or you're thinking about irrelevant things. So they're going to acknowledge that and they're going to say, don't worry about them, they're going to be fine. They're going to do what they do, live their life how they're supposed to live it, and continue to remember you and talk about you, keep you in their prayers, all that good stuff. So then you start saying, okay, well, what is this place? Am I in heaven? Am I in hell? Like, where am I at? And he's basically going to say, well, right now you're just waiting. And you're going to say, waiting for what? Well, you're waiting to be reborn again, basically. You know, it's a little bit of a process. You won't remember any of this or anything from your past life or anything like that. You will basically be born into a new, universe, a new world, basically. Like I said, whether that be you're born as the same exact person, you just have no memory of what happened the last time you were here, you know what I'm saying? So when you're reborn, it's like a whole new light. But you have little patches of like you it's like when we all experience deja vu, you know what I'm saying? We've all experienced deja vu at one point where we're like, I've been here before, I've seen this person before, I've seen this place, I've had this feeling before. We've all had that shit. And this is what ties back into the egg theory, why I feel like we get born. What the egg theory states is that you get born as somebody else in different time zones, whatever that case may be, which sounds believable. But I feel like what I interpreted out of, we get born into the same exact life that we're living right now, and we just keep getting reborn until we've really gone through like every stage or every emotion or until we've literally gone through it all. I'm talking about gone through it all, whether that's being a drug addict, whether that's being a fucking murderer, all these. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? The egg theory basically states that you have to go through every path basically in life before you can ascend to the higher being that you're currently talking to in this waiting room. And this is what he's explaining to you. He's like, okay, well, you're waiting to be reincarnated, basically. Like I said, whether that's into the same life, whether that's into a different life, right now, you're just waiting to be reincarnated. So we're just going to, walk and talk. I want you to walk and talk with me. And we're going to talk about some things. We're going to explain some shit. So, out of curiosity, you're going to ask this person, okay, so are you God? Who are you? And he will look at you and he will say, you could say that. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm God or anything like that, but I'm a being of higher light. I'm a being of higher, learning higher existence, something that doesn't exist in the universe that you were just at. I only exist right here in this place that we're in, you know And bunch of fucking questions are obviously going to run through your mind if you go through some shit like this. Because, like I said, nobody knows what happens after death. But this little theory right here that I've read up on, it sounds believable. Just because, like I said, the deja vu experience, all this, it makes a lot of sense to me. And it might make sense to whoever is watching this or whoever can relate to it. Because we've all, like I said, we've all experienced deja vu. Sorry about that. But so yeah, normal questions are going to arise. You're going to be asking him, okay, are you God? Is this heaven or hell? These questions are just going to arise, and he's just going to say, I'm just a being of higher excellence, basically. You know, and he's going to say, this isn't your first. He'll tell you, this isn't your first time here. You've been here before. You just don't remember it. Just like when you're reborn again, you won't remember this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said it really ties into a lot of that deja vu feeling. Like I've experienced I still experience that shit, and I experience it like super fucking vividly. Like I swear, like I'll be in places and it feels like I'm in a time warp sometimes because it's like, dude, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And this is basically him explaining, like, you've been in that place before. It's little patches of your memory that you're like, okay, I've been here before. It seems new, but it's familiar. It's new, but it's familiar to you. You know what I'm saying? And he'll tell you like, yeah, you've been here multiple times. And like, if you really sit and think about it, like I said, to a person who has a very open mind and somebody who can actually wrap their mind around things and actually think outside of the box, someone who's not closed minded, you'll think, damn, maybe I have died before. Maybe I have came back multiple times. You know, and he'll tell you this, and it's all going to sound like super fucking crazy when you're talking to this being of higher excellence, because he'll even tell you, I was the same before. You'll eventually reach where I'm at. You'll eventually reach this higher peak of excellence, this higher form of intelligence and all that, but not until you've been through it all, literally. People think that going through it all means that you just live one life. You know what I'm saying? People always say, "Oh, you only live once." Da 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 da. You know, which makes sense, but not really, because as this theory also states, is that we as people, we like all of us, we have two lives, and the second life, like the second life. starts when we realize we only have one life. You know what I'm saying? So with the egg theory, it's basically saying that you have to go through like you don't know how many and then everybody is different. How spiritual motherfuckers see and view things. These people who actually really read into this shit and do all that. I've done my research on them. What the spiritual people believe is that everybody is in their own universe. The person that you see doesn't really exist. You know what I'm saying? You're just perceiving that from your own. This is your own fucking world, basically. And that's how what the egg theory really states is that you have to literally live through everything, you know what I'm saying? Through every pain, every tragedy, every happiness, every like you have to go through everything. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you have days where you have to die and you have to come back. You have to die, you have to come back. You have to keep going through this cycle of realizing really what life is, what the meaning of life is, what you're here to do, what the mission is. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this could be the one for many of us. We don't even know. This could be the one that really sparks a whole, you know, journey for us reaching that higher intelligence or reaching that, higher um being status basically. But you have to really go through every like what I if we're not even thinking of past lives or thinking not past lives, if we're not thinking of like having to, live other people's lives, it's really about it's like living those other people's lives, but you're actually living in your own life. So let's say if you see like a homeless person, you may die and you may come back and you may end up being just like that homeless person. Or you see a crack addict, you may die in this life and come back as a crack addict. You see a really bad raging alcoholic, you may die in this life and you become that raging alcoholic. Literally, your life is falling apart and you have to get out of these situations, out of these holes. That's why, I'm saying you can't really you this is why I say you really shouldn't just belittle people and you really shouldn't judge people and you really shouldn't do all these things because if you die and you come back again in your other life in a different universe, you could be that person, basically. You could be that homeless person. You could be that crack addict. You could be that raging alcoholic. You could be that overly obese person who really can't do anything, has to use a scooter to move around. You could be that disabled fucking person who can't really talk, who can't really see, or has no fucking limbs. Or like you could be that person on the next go around. And you won't ascend, you won't become this higher self, you won't become this higher being that you're talking to in this waiting room until you went through all those hardships. You could even be born a fucking billionaire, but have all these problems, all these mental problems, all this other shit. Like people, you think just because you're born into this family of money or you're just born with money, problems aren't going to arise. Like no, you literally have to go through everything, every single life that this universe and other universes have to offer. Because me personally, I believe that this isn't the only fucking this isn't it. Okay, there's multiple lives out there's multiple worlds, there's multiple this is what I believe. I don't give a fuck if you agree with me. I don't that's not my business. That's your opinion. You know what I'm saying? You're entitled to that. You can sit here and look at me like I'm crazy, whatever the case may be, but this is what I believe because in my world, how I view the universe, how I view the world, I feel like something is true along the lines of this theory is that you really have to go through everything in order to become that higher being that if you want to call him God, if you want to say all that, that's fine. You know, I personally, pray on occasions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't believe in God or a creator of this universe, but I will say that that inner something about us, this inner power, this inner being. What I go off of is that God made us in his image, basically. That's what it says. So everybody says all the time, God made you in his image. So if you think about it, we are that. We are all gods. We have just not reached that higher God level because we haven't been through all the trials and tribulations that somebody like that would have to go through. You know what I'm saying? We all haven't been through like super serious. And some people have. Some people have already gone through half of this shit. Some people haven't even started. Some people are somewhere in the middle. But we all have to go through literally everything before we can reach this higher being, this inner God that we all have, to really see how it is on that other side. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, and I'm not bashing anything. I'm not saying that, like I said, these are my opinions and these are my views. There is no magical open gates in the sky and shit. There is no fiery ass place down below the fucking earth. The only thing inside of the earth is the earth's core, nigga. Yeah, of course it's gonna be hot. Fuck do you mean? It's the earth's core, nigga. Like, be real. But heaven is something, in my opinion, that you will not achieve. Like I said, that's why I got so attached to this theory, because it makes sense. Heaven is not something you will reach until you have gone through it all. I'm talking about everything that this universe and other universes, other worlds have to throw at you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of closed minded people out here that think this is just how it is. We're born, we go through life, retire, do all this, and then we die, and then it's just black. And it's not their fault, because that's how they've been programmed ever since this is the programming that these motherfuckers do. They don't want you to think on this type of level and actually have a thought or an opinion or say things like what I'm saying, because they've programmed everybody else to look at motherfuckers like this and be like, "Oh, you're just crazy. You're just talking. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about." And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But these things to me just make too much sense. Because like I said, it really ties into me with this theory is deja vu. Is really what gets me about it, because like I said, we've all been in similar places that we felt like we've been before, but we've never been in this place. But it's like as soon as you step in there, it's like something clicks in your mind. These patches that you're remembering from a past life or whatever is like whatever the case is. Even when you dream, think about when you go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I'd say personally, sleep is probably the closest thing to death, because you sleep for however fucking long, you're just dreaming whatever the fuck. And some people, you ever notice how vivid or how crazy some people's dreams are, or how crazy your dreams are? Like, it's like it's so hard to explain. Like, it's like you're like traveling back to the or you're like in your when you're dreaming, it's like you're back into that life that you were at, or you're I feel like when you're dreaming, you're unlocking all that shit that once happened, you know what I'm saying, and what in like a past life, whatever the case may be. And it's like once you really get really deep into that dream is around the time that you wake up. You know what I'm saying? And then some people remember their dreams, but they don't remember it for long until it just dissipates and they're like, oh, it's just another dream. You know, the egg theory gets so deep. Like, it gets super deep, because like I said, you literally have to live every single life in order to achieve this higher being of yourself, you know? That's why it's always good to obviously you're always going to have an opinion about something. You're always going to have this, excuse me, strong frustration about things. You're always going to have days to where you just want to say fuck it. You're going to have all these things, but really the egg theory is also about just not having hate so much, learning how to actually have love, learning how to have uh, uh, learning how to actually have appreciation, learning how to actually have gratitude, learning how to actually have loyalty. You know what I'm saying? But you can't have any of that until you have and went through all the bad. That's how this world works. That's how everything works. You can't have good without bad, good without evil. You can't have love without hate. Everything ties and correlates with each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you ever talk to like a couple or something, and they say some shit like, "Oh, I love this man with all my heart, but I just hate some of the things he do." Yes, because they correlate with each other. You can't love, if you could sit here and say you hate somebody, but you still love them in a sense. You can't have one without the other. Just like a good person who can walk around and he has this, he's a good person and shit like that. But y'all don't you never really know. He probably wasn't always that person. He probably had to have that bad with it in order to get this good. And he probably still has those bad tendencies. But the good outweighs the bad. It's like everything that's good is always going to outweigh the negative. The good is going to outweigh the bad. You know what I'm saying? When you actually start realizing and coming to, realizations about shit, love is always going to out hate. Love is always going to outshine hate. You know, Gratitude, all these positive feelings are always going to outshine these negative feelings. But you have to go through these negative feelings in order to appreciate these positive feelings, which is how the egg theory that which is what this being is trying to say in the egg theory is that you're gonna so let me get back to the story of basically what it is. So like when I say you have to go through everything, he'll basically tell you, okay, you're gonna be, reincarnated, you're gonna be born again back into a, poverty-ridden family, basically. You guys are gonna be fucking poor, can't afford shit, you won't be able to take a bath, you're gonna be stinking, you're gonna be fucking poor. You're gonna be horrible. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a fucked up life, but you will have many talents. You could be a motherfucker who's really smart, but you're just born into poverty. You have many talents, like you're good at music, you're good at something like that. You can cook really well, you can articulate and talk. You know what I'm saying? You can what's the word I'm looking for? Project yourself, I guess I could say, as a very intellectual person. You'll be like you could be born into this bad, but like I said, you can't have good without the bad. So you could be born into this super bad life, but you could have a really good talent or mentality or skill that you're born with to where you can get out of that life. You know what I'm saying? Or he'll say, "Oh, you're going to be born into this super rich, family or everything, but you're going to be neglected because they got shit to do. They're millionaires, they're billionaires, they got other business to attend to. So you're going to be neglected. You're going to do shit like you're going to be born into either good or bad situations, but if you're born into a good situation, it's going to be bad. If you're born in a bad situation, you're going to have something good to go along with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the egg theory states that you have to go through literally every single thing before you can become this higher version of yourself. And like I said, you can achieve becoming that higher person yourself in the life that you're in. You know, you just have to pray. Like we're all going to start off when you're kids, when you're a teenager, we're all gonna start off doing the dumb, stupid, bad shit that we're not supposed to be doing, because that's how it goes. You have to do this shit in order to get to that, higher plane. So, like I said, let's take it back to a person who's homeless. That person could be homeless right now, but here in a few years, that he could get back on his shit and he could be in his own space, has have his own car, have a nice job. Like it can happen, But he had to go through that before it could happen. Look at all these higher ups, all these celebrities and people like that. They've gone through horrible shit. They've been in positions just like me and you, and that's how they got. You have to go through these things in order to get to where you're trying to go, in order to achieve this higher excellence of yourself. You don't just get it. And if you do get it, it also comes with problems. So if it does start off good, expect problems in it. You know what I'm saying? And the problems are going to be hard to get through. But like I just said, the good always outshines the bad. The positive always outshines the negative. If you're really willing to break yourself down and realize, what the fuck is going on, what you need to do, how you need to climb out of the situation, because the positive does always outweigh the negative. But if you have a negative mindset and you're just this negative person, you're always going to be born into negative situations. You're never going to learn. You're going to be basically stuck. So that's another thing about the egg theory. You know what I'm saying? If you keep learning from these things and you keep trying to go, because like I said, you're not going to remember much when you're brought back, but you will have little patches of things you remember, like deja vu. Really, what deja vu means to a lot of spiritual motherfuckers, if you're experiencing deja vu a lot, that means you're on the right path. That means whatever path you're on right now is a path you need to keep continuing to do, because you're going to start learning. You're going to start learning from your past mistakes. You're going to start learning which route to take and which route not to take. You're going to learn which people to trust and what people not to trust. You're going to be it's a life is a whole learning process. You learn a lot of shit throughout life. It's not just about money. It's not about who has the fastest car, who has the baddest bitch, who has all this, who has all the no. It's about how much knowledge you obtain throughout this fucking life. How much love you can attain for everybody around you, whether they like you or not, whether it's a person who could be doing better. It's all about attaining that love and everything for life. The learning everything about life. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to go through it. You have to go through the storm. You have to it's like I said, if you don't want to do it, then you're gonna be someone who's stuck in the middle. Every time you're brought back, you're just gonna be the average Joe every time. Yeah, you're doing good. You could be doing better, but you're too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody who's just gonna be on the bottom all the time. You don't want to choose to do all this. And every time you come back, you're just gonna come back as a shittier and shittier person until you start to learn. That's why I said we don't know how many times if this theory is correct and what the people this person is talking about, you know what I'm saying? We don't know how many times we've been brought back. That's why when you see some of these people's change up their things, they used to smoke, drink, do whatever the fuck, smoke crystal meth, do all this other bullshit, and you see them change and turn their life around. They've probably been born over and over again, and this is the life where they're like, "Oh, this shit is not working, man." Like something clicks in them to where they're like, I need to flip the switch. I cannot keep going down this path." You know what I'm saying? I lost everything. I've been through all this bull. Like I can't keep doing it. So they make a major change. You know, which is why I listen to this shit. And like I said, you could look at me like I'm crazy. And you don't have to agree with me, but this is how I feel about it because I've been through the same shit. Used to smoke weed all day, every single fucking day. All I did was smoke weed, drink, go out with the boys, go out to parties. That's all I fucking did. Didn't have a job, didn't really have money, was sleeping couch to couch. I didn't have couch to couch to sleep to, so I slept outside. I was homeless. I've been through that. And there was something that's flipped. I flipped a switch in myself and I was like, this isn't it. This really isn't it. Like I said in my last video, also went through porn addiction and all this other bullshit. There was a switch that was flipped in me, and I realized that this wasn't it, which was my higher self talking. I like to say your subconscious is your higher self, and whatever you feed it, it can either be positive for you, it can be negative for you, whatever. It's what you feed it. It's what you feed your mind, what you feed your soul, your gut is how the universe is going to bring that shit to you. You know what I'm saying? However feed your mind, your all this shit, the universe is going to give that to you. So I fed my mind like, no, this is not it. I need to quit this shit. So like I said, I flipped the switch. I quit cigarettes. I quit smoking weed. I don't drink anymore. I don't go out to parties. I'm boring. I stay at home. Yeah, I work out and I go do all this stuff, but I'm doing the positive shit, missing out on all that fun, cool, negative shit. Cause yeah, it was fun, it was cool, it was all that, but it was negative, and all it was bringing me was negativity. It's like I said, you have to flip the switch. You have to go through all that bullshit. You literally have to go through it all in order to achieve that higher version that you have in you, that we all have in us. We just don't know it's there because no one's willing to really break their self down and realize that they're not that person. You're not that person that you think you are, for real, until you really break yourself down and realize that in order to achieve that person who you think you are. Yeah, you can fake it till you make it, but it's only gonna be so long until you can fake that shit before reality really fucking hits. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what this egg theory is stating is that you have to go through every life, every emotion, every heartbreak, every pain, every little bit of poverty, every little bit of Great Depression, every anxious fucking lifestyle. Literally every emotion you can think of, you have to go through that shit multiple times in life before you can achieve what it is you're trying to achieve. That's just how it goes. That's why I say some people flip the switch and some people do great. All these motherfucking famous motherfuckers and celebrities, they've probably been born however many, we've all been through multiple fucking lives, whether you want to believe it or not, because of deja vu. That's the big indicator for it that most of y'all probably just skip over and don't realize. Nigga, deja vu is telling you something. Listen to it. Take heed to it. If you have deja vu, that means you're on the right path. It may feel like, and sometimes it feels like maybe you're not, but trust me, keep it in your gut and stay positive. You're on the right path. You have to also figure out, okay, I'm gonna keep on this path, and I'm gonna start, maybe slightly change things up a little bit. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to listen to me. But I'm saying is that if you want to achieve that higher version of yourself, you're going to have to make sacrifices. That's the biggest thing. You're gonna have to learn how to sacrifice. So I think really this egg theory thing to me is something that's believable in a sense because you have to die, man. You have to be defeated. You have to fail multiple times, multiple lives, all that shit before you can actually achieve what it is you're trying to achieve. Even if it's just in this one life, because like I said, you could have been through this shit multiple times, and this could be the one to where you're going through all these hardships, but you're actually finally starting to learn. You're actually starting to take heed in these and not take every failure or hardship as, oh, you're just this bad luck person, or you just never you always get the short end of the stick and you're just always no. Take it as a lesson, learn from the lesson and do better. Because if you just keep living in that mentality, like I said, you're going to keep dying, you're going to come back and you're going to be the same shit. You're going to be somewhere in the middle or you're going to be on the low end. You're never going to be up here with the higher minded motherfuckers because you're such a closed minded person. So, like I said, I'm giving my best explanation on how I feel the egg theory is. Like you can watch videos on it, you can look it up, wherever the case may be. But that was my whole take on it. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to go through it, man. And like I said, this could be the one. This could be the one. Me personally, I tell myself every day, this is the one. This is the one where I'm gonna be the one to bring my family and all my loved ones out of this circle and ring of poverty. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep sticking to doing these videos. That's why I keep sticking to every time a failure comes, I'm like, okay, what do I what do I need to do to switch it up this time? Every time I get into it, and ever since I've been on this thinking level, ever since I've been thinking higher of myself and having gratitude for everything, having love for shit, loving myself the most, you know what I'm saying? Things have been moving in a good path for me. Once you start molding and shaping your mind into positivity, nothing but positivity. Like I said, you're gonna have them days where you know what I'm saying, you're feeling down. You're gonna have those days, but don't let it cloud your fucking judgment and just move on into the next day, into the next day, and then it turns into the next week, then it turns into the next couple months, and then it turns into the next couple years. You can't keep thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? Because once it's it, once you're inside that casket, once you're inside that ground, it's either you're gonna come back on that level of like now you're, you know what I'm saying? Which, like I said, if you're born on that good level, expect the bad to come with it, but the good is always going to outweigh the bad. But you could be born into that good life, but now you just have these problems that are going to arise, and you're going to have to find a way to get through. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to learn these lessons. You know, so and then, like I said, we really don't know what happens if we achieve that hierarchy of that higher version of ourselves. We may not come back at all because we may be on that level that being that you talked to in the waiting room was on. Now you're talking to the next person that's in this waiting room, and you're the new person who's like, "Yeah, man, you died, but it's all good. You're about to come back to life. You're about to get another shot, basically." People say you only live once, but that's what small, simple-minded people say. You only live once. Gotta enjoy it now. Da, 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 da. Gotta work hard. Gotta do all that. Gotta da, da, da. And I'm not saying that you don't have to work hard, but all I'm saying is stop treating life like it's a fucking like it's a race or some shit. Like you have to just zoom through the shit. No. take a step back and chill sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Treat life like a fucking video game. Yeah, you can just coast through it and you can just go ahead and get the bare minimum and beat the game, or you can take your time, do all the side missions, do all the side quests, gain all the achievements, do all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy it. Because if you want me to be honest, shit could be gone within a blink of an eye. Shit could be gone the next fucking day. That's why I say enjoy fucking life, man, to the fullest. Stop treating it like it's a race. Enjoy life. Learn to love. Learn to have gratitude. Learn what real loyalty is. Learn to be happy. Learn to be positive. You know, fill your mind, fill your body up with nothing but positivity. Like I said, it's okay to have your moments, but I remember in the last video I did, a couple of videos ago, give yourself at least 5 to 10 minutes to bullshit, to complain, to talk all the shit you want. But after that 5, 10 minutes is up, shut the fuck up and say you can't do anything about it. I just gotta learn from it, continue to be positive, continue to be happy, all that shit. You know. So cause like I said, you could be born again and you're just going through the same shit, still stagnant. You know what I'm saying? Still just not moving, still not achieving. You're just trying to get to the end of the game, trying to beat the big boss. And once you beat it, oh well, now what? You know what I'm saying? Or along the way, you're trying to beat the game, and then just like that, you're gone. You died. Now you got to come back. You got to like I said, man. Enjoy life. Learn to live. Learn to love. Learn to have gratitude. Learn to have positivity. Learn to have an open mind. Learn to accept people, for who they are. Accept their opinions. Hear them out. Whether you have your own views on things or not. Just learn to actually be like, okay, I may not agree, but I'm not going to sit here and argue. You know what I'm saying? That's your opinion. You're entitled to that. And I respect you for that. I have my own opinions, and I hope you respect me for that. But I don't think we should just be enemies and just be fighting and just hate each other. You know what I'm saying? There's too much fucking hate in the world, man. That's what I've interpreted out of it when it comes to the egg theory. You need to learn how to love, live, have positivity, have gratitude through every fucking situation you're going through. Every bad situation you're going through, every hardship, everything, you know what I'm saying, before you can achieve that hierarchy of that higher version of yourself. And that's what a lot of us don't realize, especially in America, is that everybody thinks in America we have it so fucking hard. And I'm like, go to a different fucking country where you see these kids selling sandals, or you see these kids selling shoelaces, or you see these kids selling these handmade bracelets just so they can buy some goddamn bread or some shit like that. You think you have it hard, but you really don't, my nigga. You just have a horrible fucking mentality. You need to finish that. You need to fix it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, that was my version of what the egg theory kind of meant to me, how I interpreted the egg theory. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's millions of videos on YouTube. There's books about it. You can go read it. You can go have it. I explained it to the best of my ability from the information I received and all the shit that I did. But that's what I really think it is. You have to live every single life, every single fucking hardship, every single feeling, all that shit before you can achieve the higher version of yourself, before you can achieve God mode, basically. You know what I'm saying? So take that for what it is. Take the information for how you want to take it. This was my take on it. This was my opinion on it. This is how I explained it to y'all. So, take it how you want it. Go look it up, go watch the videos. It's something very interesting and very intriguing to think and talk about. You know what I'm saying? Have an open mind. Don't just be so close minded to where you think it's just nonsense. No, have an open mind and actually sit and think and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Gotta live every single life, man. You gotta go through everything that this whole universe has to offer. This universe is too big for this to be the only thing, the only world, and this is your universe also. So, like I said, you could die, you could come back, you be doing the same shit, and you gotta learn from it. Or you could die, you come back. It goes two ways. You can either die and come back as somebody else in a horrible situation, a good situation, and go through horrible situations, whatever the case may be, or you can die, come back this same person that you are, and learn from all the other mistakes you made. Like I said, you're not gonna remember much, but keep in mind deja vu. You're gonna remember a little bit. like I said, remember, try to think about what your dreams mean. You know, the egg theory is something that really intrigued. The egg theory is something that really wrapped my mind around things. So like I said, you want to check that out. Take what you want from this podcast, but this is the best way I could explain it, the best way I could interpret it for what it means to me, and try to explain it to y'all. So yeah, that was today's topic. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you take something from it. You actually want to go out and learn more about it. You know, but it's definitely something to think about, and it's definitely something to keep an open mind about. Because this life is a crazy life, man. But like I said, you learn to have that positive, feeling, those positive feelings about everything, all the people around you, animals, yourself, all these things. You learn how to like how to have these positive feelings. You'll achieve that higher version of yourself. You'll achieve God mode, man. So, like I said, just check it out. Take what you want from this podcast and go with it. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'm gonna go ahead and end that off. You know what I'm saying? Um, like I said, I do, what I'm saying, new podcast videos every Thursday and Friday. I was supposed to have a guest on the show with me to talk about it. It probably would have been a longer video if we was going back and forth to talk about it, but they couldn't make it today, so I had to shorten it out, give my take on it, talk about it, and let you guys know. So, like I said, new episodes every Thursday and Friday. Make sure you guys come out, subscribe, tell your friends. Yeah, man, just come fucking enjoy the show. I'm here all the time. But, it's been really great show. Love and peace to all y'all. This has been the Rusty Hour, and I will see you guys on the next live video.